Force Web, which of course everybody is seeing right now. Dave Bell is the one that's going to be leading this training session. He works with Tour de Force. His business title is Business Consultant. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dave.
Great, Diane. Thanks a lot. Once again, good morning, everyone. Hoping everybody can see my screen. I have turned on the record button, so we will be recording the session as we move forward. And today's session is on the Tour de Force web version. Tour de Force now has just two ways to access information in Tour de Force. One is the desktop version, which you're familiar with, which is the info center on your desktop, or if you invoke Outlook. The second method is the one that we're going to go through today, which is what we call the Tour de Force Web. And this is basically a web page that you access through the internet. It is best if you're on your desktop or your laptop to access it to do through Google Chrome or Firefox. Microsoft Explorer, we have some issues like everybody else with it, and so that's the best way to access it. The web was rewritten completely in the version that you moved to, 2016 R1, and so what we did is we rewrote it in a responsive to the device that you're looking on. So if you're looking at it on your phone, it's going to respond to the size of the phone and redo the icons and things like that. If you're familiar with the way Facebook or YouTube or some of those products do it, we're doing exactly the same thing. So we're looking at it as if it's on my desktop. If I were to resize this is what it looks like if you were on your phone, and you'll notice that what it did was readjust the screen to the device that I'm on. So still the same information, just readjusted. So feel free to use this on your phone or your tablet or on your laptop. It all looks the same. The other thing about the web version is if you're using Tour de Force desktop outside of your office, then of course you would have to sign on to the VPN and get all set up that way. That is not the case with the web version. All you need is an internet access, and you type in the web page, which is theforce.salemdisc.com, and up pops the sign-on screen. And once you sign on, you get this home page. Shortly, likely within the next day or so, the Tour de Force logo will be replaced by your Salem logo. This is one of the things that I like about the web version is it's not as complicated as the desktop version, because the desktop version is a Windows version. So there's usually like 5 ways to do something in a Windows application, where on the web version we have a nice clean set of icons associated with this. I did send Diane a cheat sheet which has got all the icons and the description of the icons. But the home page contains certain sections of information, and you can collapse sessions. So this first section is your daily summary, and what this is telling you is the number of appointments and activities that you've done today, and if you had any tasks or reminders open. So you can look at it this way and simply click on the bar, and it will show you the appointments. And I went in and set up 2 appointments prior to the meeting today. Or I can click on the icon itself, and I like this view because it brings me up a calendar view of what I'm doing in the system. So right now it's telling me that I've got 2 appointments today, one at 10 and one at 3 p.m. as you can see here, and I can open the appointments right from here as well if I want to. And what that does is it brings up the appointment so that I can either readjust it or confirm the way that I want to do it. So that's the functionality that you've got at the calendar level. So what we do with the calendar level is if you create the appointment using Tour de Force, we know about all the other appointments that you have in Tour de Force. So we will do some conflict and tell you if you've already scheduled something in Tour de Force. It does not look at your Outlook calendar because we don't, on the web device, you may not have Outlook available to you. So but we do it if we know that it is a tour de force appointment. If I wanted to see what the activities had been done today already, I can click on here, and this tells me that Carol has put in an activity already for today. I'm on as Richard, I believe his name is, and Randy
Church.
Yeah, and I have access to all data at the moment. So now the other thing you can do, for example, if you're on the phone, is you can collapse things. So like I can click on here and it collapses that summary. The visualizations, because I have access to the whole company, is all of the sales information for the company. And I can click on here and pick any of the other charts that I want to, and I can collapse this one as well. At the bottom, we have all of our daily alerts that you would normally get in an email, and now they're available to you on the home page. So if I wanted to go down here and look at yesterday's open orders over $300, I would click on that. And what it does is it brings me up the list of orders just the way that I would normally see them, and I can click on here and it will actually take me to the account and open up the order. Also available to me is my build your own reports that I have access to, and we'll take a look at them a little later on in the session. So if I wanted to go back to my full screen, I can click here. Now, going across the top, I'm just going to show you a couple of icons. The home icon is always there, and when you click on it, it brings you back to this home page. We have our standard tour de force search. We have recent items. And remember, recent items will show you the last 99 items that you accessed in tour de force. So if you had added a contact yesterday, then you would be able to go in here and click on recent items and find that contact. Favorites we're going to get back to, but this is where I can select a number of accounts that I always call on during 1 week period or 2 week period, and I don't have to go search for them to add my activities. All I have to do is go to my favorites and add the activities there. The info center is standard info center, and we'll go through that. We separated out the BI data, and then there are some utilities. The create button, I'm going to show you that it's a quick way to create something. And then over here under the name, we have our settings and our logout. So we're going to take a look at this as if I were beginning my day. And so I have 2 appointments that I have for today that I created using Tour de Force. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the appointment, and I'm going to open it up because I want to prepare for this appointment. So if I show headers here, typically we hide headers, the breadcrumb appears. So we see that this appointment is for Kurt, and it's for this particular company. Now, if I wanted to do some call prep prior to going and visiting Kurt, I could just go to the appointment, show the header, and click on the actual account, and it opens up that account for me. So from here, I can go through here and I can go, okay, I want to see who all the contacts are at that account. Now, the icons that we have available to us at the record level is I can delete it if I have permission, but nobody, of course, nobody can delete an account or contact. We have to let Diane know about that. I can attach a file. This is new in web. Before, you couldn't attach a file. Now, if you have a spreadsheet or a presentation that you want to have attached to this particular account, you can do it here. We're going to talk about this a little bit more when we get to the activities. So let's say I go up to my window pane, which is view items, which is similar to the right mouse click, and I go, I want to view all my contacts. So here's a list of all of the contacts that are associated with this account. In a grid that comes up in web, we have an option down here to show 10 rows, 15 rows, 20 is our default, or I can go as high as 100. And we'll get back to that when we look at it in the info center. So that's a list of contacts. I may go, well, that's good. They all have email addresses. I have to worry about that. Let's take a look at the past activities that have happened on this account. And I can see that I've got a number of activities with the note here that I can review. I can also go down here and look at emails, for example, if there were any emails associated, and there are a number of emails associated with them. And if I wanted to read an email, all I need to do is highlight the item that I want to look at, and I get these three icons that say View, Action, or Open. Because it's an email, there's actually no action or no anything attached to it. I can click on it, and up will pop that email that I can review prior to going in on the call. So this is all about how I'm preparing for the call. I can close this now that I have the account open, and I can go to the sales data tab, and I can look at all of the different aspects of the sales data. And I believe you guys have a BYOR that does all of this all together, which we can run from here as well. Just let this load in. Clearly the beans are running slow across the border. I can look at quotes and orders, and if I go to the BYOR, we have our call report one. So if I click on it, it's actually going to run the BYOR for me, and this is my call prep call report. So I did show you the different areas that you could go to, but you could simply just go to this account, open it up, and then run this build your own report, which would help you prepare for the call that you're going in. But where we started this off was at the appointment. So the advantage of creating the appointment in Tour de Force is I have everything linked to it that I don't have to go search for it the day that I go to do my appointment. Okay? So now I can go back here to, and I'm just going to close this. And once again, we're going to go through how I got here. So I want to prepare for this second call. So I click on the appointment, and I'm going to show my headers, go to the account, and I go to my BYOR and I run the call report, and that prepares me for the call. Now, once again, if you like, you can do this on your phone, or you can do it on a tablet, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like on the phone. The BYOR is a little bit more clumsier on your phone, but you do have to do some scrolling, but this is basically what would come up on your phone if you were to do that. So that's really preparing for the call if I've created the appointment using Tour de Force. If I haven't created the appointment using the Tour de Force, it's one of the people that I call on all the time. I can go up to my favorites, and I'm going to call on this particular customer. So I click on it, opens it up, and I go to my BYOR and I run my call report. The final way is if I actually go to the info center and I run my list of accounts. This is no different than the desktop info center. And it gives me my list of accounts. Now here is where we have one of the things that we do with grids on the web is we bring in pages. So this page is 20 items long, but if I click 30, it's going to give me 30 items here. You'll notice, and this is sort of a key point here, guys. Down at the bottom, it says, I've brought in the first 1,000 records into pages. So this page 1 through 34 is really just the first 1,000 of this 26,000 records. So if I type in a name here, what it does, and this is the tricky part, is it just searches that first 1,000 records to find Bell. The key to doing this is type Bell and hit the enter key, and then it searches all 26,000 records. So that's a little bit of a thing that you got to be careful of when you're doing the in-grid searching. So the first time we show you a grid view, we show you 1,000 records. If you just type without hitting the enter, it only filters on that 1,000 records. If you hit the enter key, it's going to filter all 26,000. So just a little got you there. If I were going to call on this company, I would just highlight it, and once I highlight it, up pops the icons that are available to me. I click on it, and I click on my BYOR, and I create my call report section. So multiple ways to prepare yourselves for the call. Any questions on getting ready for the call? Okay.
No, it looks like when you go back to the home page, Dave, since you have access to the entire record, it doesn't look like we're using too many because of the total Salem database. It looks like there's only 2 appointments being made.
Well, it depends on how.
Is that correct?
Well, the other thing we have to worry about is how the appointments have been set up. And so I'm just going to show you underneath, guys, in the settings. If I go to the daily summary options, which is what was at the top, right now, the default is it's going to show me everything within my home list. And you're right, Diane, I have access to everybody. So there's only 2 appointments set for today. If you just want to see your own appointments, you would click here. So this shows me everybody's appointments. If I pick this option, if I select owned or attended by me, it gives me these options. So that's the way that would work. So one of the things we can do is, how do we create an appointment? So if I go back to my info center and I click on accounts, now you'll notice that the info center will work the same way as it does on the desktop version. If I click on contacts, it gives me 2 tabs. If I'm going to call on this particular contact, I highlight it. Up comes my 3 action icons: open, action, or view. I pick action, and I'm going to create a new appointment. Up pops my appointment form, and I can, my subject. Now, we default to an hour increment, and so if this is what I want to see, if it's for today, I can go down here and click on the clock, and I can go, I want this call for 4 p.m. today. Now, if I want to send this appointment to somebody, attendees, I must save it first. So I click on the save button. And what happens is I can now start adding selected people to send it to. So if I hit add select, or I just start typing. So if I want to send this to Diane, it's going to bring me up a list of TDF users and TDF contacts that have that value in their name. So I can send it internally to a tour de force person, or I can actually send it out to the customer. So this search, you have to be, so I can send it to Diane, and I could have sent it out to, because it was looking for the name, I could send it out to Gary. But if I just pick Diane and do that, and now if I do a save and close, Diane will get a meeting request from me. Make sense, guys? But the key is you got to save it down here. Okay, so let's do a save and close. And it, I need to put a start time in there that's reasonable. Notice it gave me that message. There we go. So that's creating the appointment. So what we just did was 2 things, guys. We covered preparing for the call and setting up an appointment. And you'll notice now I have 3 appointments for today. So at the end of the day, or when I come out from a call, or when I get a chance, if I want to create an activity for this call, it's the same as what we have in our desktop, where we would do a complete and convert. So I highlight the one I want to complete and convert, and I click on complete and convert. I don't want to delete the data source, so I just click OK. And what happens now is it's going to create a activity record for me down here that I can, maybe I needed to do that again. Sorry, guys. Appointment, complete and convert. Let me delete the source. It's not, I expected it to put an activity down here for me, guys, so I'm
It
not.
didn't do it.
No, so I'm going to have to do a little check on that for us, but that would be the way that you would set it up. It's likely me doing it, nothing else. So let's just go over to the info center and let's come back to our home. And that's what I had to do, was refresh, guys. I should have hit the refresh button. My apologies. So what it did was it created, I created two now, right? So I can go, I want this to be a visit. And then if I want to add any more information to it, I just highlight it and it pulls up the activity report, and I can go through and go, we did an investigate, all of this good stuff, and then do my save and close. So what happens is if I do it from my appointments, is it sort of builds the activity record for me automatically, if you wanted to do it that way. Another way to do it is to, and now if I look at my calendar, we should see that I've got 3 appointments and I've completed 2 activities. And the difference between an appointment and an activity in this view is that the appointments have their start time listed here, and this is just an activity, and I can open it up from here anytime I want to. The other way to create an activity, and one of the ways is if you're on your phone, because I'm going to go back to my phone view, and you come out from the call, is to go down here and just give me a second, guys, to clear that screen. Come down here and go to the create button, activity, and I'm going to do it on an account. Now this search only returns 10 items, so we really got to be careful on how we do our search here. So I'm going to go, it was Bell Architecture, click OK, and the activity type was that it was a visit. I did an investigate. It wasn't a joint call. I don't have a next action. My next action is to none required. And if I'm on my phone and I click in here, up will pop my keyboard. And if your phone supports voice, you can click on the microphone on the keyboard and dictate in here your activity.
Awesome. It makes it really easy to do it on the phone.
The notes of your activity. Yep. Just I've experienced that you have to be in a quiet area because my phone picks up all sorts of outside noises, right? So that's the way to do it. The quick way to do it from your phone. It's just quick and easy.
Hey, if I could just interject something right there.
Yep.
I was with Shaban this week, and we were in an account. It's the first time that I had really been through the account up in Maine. Large account. They have all kinds of equipment. I bet 15 different pieces of equipment that Shaban was on his phone. Okay. And I almost went over to him going, dude, you're on your phone in front of the customer. It doesn't look good. Okay. And what I realized he was doing was he was entering all the notes of the machinery that he had on his phone into Tour de Force right on the phone. So
perfect.
It is a valuable tool that when you're just walking through the system, and we all carry our phones there, at least I certainly do, or carrying it around all the time. Might not have your iPad or certainly your computer. It's something that he was just taking notes directly into the Tour de Force system. So it's pretty cool.
So here's to that point. If this is the activity that I created. So let's say, for example, I'm doing this activity on my phone and I'm looking at a machine and the machine is just like a total mess. What you can do is take a picture on your phone of that machine and then attach the picture to this activity right on your phone.
Awesome. That's
So,
pretty cool.
so I've got, if I go to my pictures here, guys,
Yeah.
so I attach my grandson's picture, but what happens on your phone is it goes, when you click on here, it automatically goes to your gallery and it can pick up the phone. So that's a huge thing. Instead of describing in the note, the machine was set up improperly, it wasn't in the right environment, they had it all messed up. Just take a picture of it and then you can attach it to the activity. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Hey, Diane, I've never got signed in on my phone, and I don't know how many guys could. Is there any way to send out easy directions to get that?
It's just the same link as you use on your browser, the force.salemdist.com. You probably already have, you may already have Chrome installed on your phone or Safari. You just open up the browser and type in the web address, the force.salemdist.com, and it should take you right to the sign-in page.
Okay.
And then it behaves just like it does on a laptop. Well, as far as logging in goes, the sizing and the moving around of the menus is a little different.
Right. But if you're on an iPhone or a Droid, you can make bookmark that and then
put it on your
put
desktop.
the icon on the desktop. So you, when you do that, it's the TDF flame that you have on your desktop.
Yep.
So that's after the call, taking a look at the information. Now, Diane mentioned to me that you guys may have customers that you don't really do appointments with. It's sort of like I always go there. I'm going to visit these 4 guys sometime during the week, but I don't really make an appointment. So what I instruct people to do then is, if you know you're going to do this, it's the same guys all the time. What I would do is I would highlight the account, go to my actions, and make them my favorite. So I went to the action character and I added to my favorites. So now when I go to these calls, I call them root calls. All I got to do is click on my favorites. I don't have to go search for them. They're right here. I go over here and click on the action figure and say new activity, and I'm done. I'm on my way. So if you have a group of accounts that you always call on, you just make them your favorites. So one more time, the way we did that was in the info center, and favorites work for contacts as well. So if I know I'm going to call on the same contact all the time, I just highlight the contact, up comes my action figures, click here, and I do add to favorite. Now, if in the unlikely event they're not going to be your favorite anymore, you would go to the action character and say minus the favorite, and that takes them out of the favorites list. And this list can be as long as you want to. Just remember recent items. And of course, when all else fails, we do have our standard global search, which works exactly the same way as it does on the desktop version. Another thing to remember is in the info center, we have the icons here because they're on the phone, but until you get used to the icons, if you click on this double arrow, this tells you what they all are.
That's good.
So if you wanted to go look at activities, and it takes all your default views. Now, you cannot create your own local view on the mobile, on the web version, but you can add columns if you want to. And new in this web version, if you have the right, you can also now export the grid out to an Excel file on your mobile device, on your web, when you're using web, as long as the device that you're using supports Excel.
Dave, does it honor the filters you put on a grid?
Yes, it does now.
It did not before in the earlier versions.
Yeah, it does now.
Okay, thank you.
And the search here has been expanded as well. So typically it's a contains, but you can also do these searches now. So instead of just typing something in, you can say, I want it to equal this, or I don't want it to equal this, right? So there are some new search capabilities in the grids as well. We still can sort, right? by any one of the fields. So that's all still there as well. That sort of stuff is available to you. And all of the global views that have been set up are all still available to me as well. When we go to look at the BI data, we separated that out of the info center. And this performs and behaves exactly the same way that it does on the desktop version. Is he allowed to look at sales data, this guy, or did I just lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is.
It's chugging. It's chugging up here. So now, speed of the web version, particularly on the phone, is truly dependent on, you know, if you're out in the middle of nowhere with one bar, it's gonna be like any other application that you've got going on your phone. It's gonna take a while. 4G should be fine. I've totally confused it. I apologize, guys. So we just got to make sure that we understand that, particularly on the phone, because it can take some time to get it going. But if you're sitting at Panera or someplace like that, it's should be pretty responsive. I didn't click on BI data before, Diane, so there we go.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on.
So same as what we had before, guys. All the same information. I can click on this and it's going to show me the quotes. And I can click on the plus sign and it tells me the items that make up the quotes. The only difference is if I go to group summaries and pick a summary type like product, like vendor, for example, the reports will come up, but you know on the desktop version, you have the capability of drilling down further. There's always a little plus sign. That's not available yet on the mobile. So all you really get is just the report.
Yeah, most of our guys that are attending this, there's only 2 people I think that actually use the desktop. Well,
So
Jim, you may use it sometimes, don't you? Jim Gilday uses it, and Dan uses it.
Yeah, sorry, I
exclusively.
was on mute. I use it a lot.
Okay,
A
the
lot.
desktop.
Yeah, so that's really the only difference in the sales data. It behaves and looks exactly the way that it was, the same at the account level as well. If we go look at an account like we did, but that call prep BYOR, man, I would be using that all the time. I have lots of users now that have decided to use that methodology to prepare for a call. So at this time, I'm just going to open it up for questions, guys.
Anybody have any issues that they've been struggling with on the web version lately? Well, maybe we can go over. You can unmute now.
No, it's I found that I just had to play with it a little bit, but I think it's familiar enough with the other versions we've had. I mean, there's some new things that Dave talked about today, but I don't have anything at the moment.
I'd really encourage you guys to use that camera and the activity. It is a total time saver if I can take a picture of something and instead of trying to describe it in the note. So,
how many of you guys have used it on the phone? Anybody besides Sir Bon?
I'm just now signing in. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Okay, cool.
all right. Thanks a lot for your time, guys.
And I have one additional thing. I know that we can save sales and all that to Excel spreadsheets. Yesterday, I was digging up customers for a specific area. Just say like Dallas, Fort Worth. I was getting all my customers in that specific area. Is there any way to save that to an Excel spreadsheet?
Yep. So, for example, if I go in here to my list of customers, and you said they were in Dallas, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't have the X up there like you do, right above where you're at, though, whenever I was doing it.
So I just did all of Dallas here. We'll just let it build. The only reason that you might not have this screen, this export to Excel,
Didn't have that.
is you don't have the right to export to Excel.
Damn. Okay.
Well, I could add that. Is anybody else missing that? Kevin, weren't you able to do that in the previous version?
I've never tried to do that specifically before, Diane. I was just messing with it yesterday.
Okay, well, I'll check into that and make sure
Because,
that's enabled for you.
You know, when we pull up an area like that, I mean, you have so many customers in there you just don't deal with anymore. So I was trying to thin it out and just get a database of the customers that we deal with. Or that I have.
Well, show him, Dave, how he can export just the ones that are buying.
Well,
see, there is lots of zeros. You can use the year-to-date sales.
So I could go in here and say, you know, year-to-date sales greater than 0.
Mm-hmm.
And there we
That'll
go.
filter it down to the people that actually buy from you in that area.
Or you may want to, and then all you do is you click on this icon and it downloads your spreadsheet and you open it up and it should be, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't have that X like you saw there.
Yeah. And that's,
okay.
Wow.
that would be the reason why.
Yep.
Okay, I will add that for you. If anybody else is missing that, let me know and I'll update the permissions for that so you can start using it.
So this is yeah, you're right. Or, you know, this is pretty handy if you want to go to Dallas and then, or if you have it on you just leave it open on your device, and then when you come out from calls, you just highlight it and click on there, and there's your new activity.
Nice.
Hey Diane,
this
Jim.
is how, sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
If you've given us permission to download to Excel on the desktop version, does that mean we automatically have permission on the mobile version?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I correct, Dave?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So if I were to
Right,
look,
thanks.
if I were to look at this on my phone, this is how it would look like on the phone.
And again, you could just highlight an account and click the and create your activity.
Or just open it up here and run the view or whatever you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Any other questions, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, Dave's, like you said, he's recording the session, so I'll send you a link out in a day or two. If there's anything you want to review, you'll be able to do that.
Because we're running this session again tomorrow, so I'm going to pick the best of the 2 recordings to send to you, Diane.
Okay.
All right. You guys have a great long weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks,
Okay.
Diane.
Bye-bye.
Bye.